All righty. Hello, Arthur.
Hello, Brent.
How you
We are now
doing?
officially past the midpoint of June.
Yep, 16th of June. We are past that midpoint.
Just flying along here.
Yeah, well, we were past the midpoint yesterday. No commentary on that. Hello, everybody. Okay, so Arthur, I promised you something yesterday.
And I know you
Okay,
always live up to your promises.
that's not true, but this time I'm going to. Okay, so what was the promise I made you yesterday?
Something about dad jokes?
Yes, correct. Specifically around the word amorphous.
Right.
Okay, so are you ready for this?
Hit me.
Okay, so that was my attempt at that. Are you ready for this? Do. You know that one? Yeah. Okay, we don't know that one. All right, so here it is. So there is this young gentleman, a young man, who was talking with his friend, his best friend for years. They knew each other a lot. Like they're from kindergarten or something else like that. And he had just met somebody and he was like, oh my gosh, I think she's the one. Or he's the one. I think I found the one. And I said, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Right. It's just so all vague and fuzzy for me. We like the same books. We like the same movies, but I've heard that opposites attract. So maybe this isn't a good thing. And, which way do they put the toilet paper on? I don't know that yet. Like, is this really love? Is this maybe not love? I'm not sure. Doesn't snore, right? But I don't know if the parents snore, because if the parents snore, then maybe genetically predisposed to getting snoring when you get older. Like that happens apparently. I don't even know if I snore because I'm not sure yet. I haven't had that feedback. I'm older now. I haven't, so I don't know, and what if maybe we have a mutated snore gene and our kids end up being snorers? Like he's really confused about all of this stuff. He says, but likes the same books, but also likes the same TikToks. I've actually measured, watched, and I've correlated it. And we're like 95% on the same TikToks. We like the same TikTok. I think this is, but I'm not sure. It's so unclear in my head. And his friend is just like, holy cow, like this is going on for hours. There's more than just this. And his friend looks at him and he says, you know what? This is really amorphous for you, isn't it?
Hold on, it's coming.
Amorphous.
Amour. All right, so we got a little French in there.
Yeah, amour means
love.
Fuss. He's like fussing about love. Amorphous. It's amorphous. But it's like vague for him too. So it's like it's got like different languages, like it's multilingual. It's a pun, obviously. It's very dad. This is very dad. And it's, amorphous is like, it's very amorphous for him. Like
Brent, I think you just got a dad joke level up on that one.
That was the next level. So our 10,000 hours are working. So just saying.
We're getting there. What? Only 9,843 to go?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Quick question before we start to David Blackmore says my microphone is a bit low right now. Is it better now? Just give us a quick thumbs up.
You're good for me.
Good for you?
You're good for me. So yes, today is
also Brent, comment from Richard. Your lighting is way better.
Okay, yeah, I know. That's because I actually turned on my lighting. So one prime number day, a long time ago, I actually got this lighting gear, right? This thing. Right now, probably messing up my lighting now. Okay, whoops. Hopefully it's still good. And I finally turned it on. So I got the camera and I turned on the lighting. This is the first time I've turned on this light. I set it up. I actually have this chair. I have a garbage pan. I've got this IKEA thing, and then I have the lighting. I have a whole thing that I go through. Like, it's not a garbage pan, so it's a recycling bin. So there's this whole thing I do, and then I usually forget it. But now I didn't forget it, and I've got the feedback to prove it. That's so good. All right, how are we doing for time? So today
winning it. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8.
What?
7.
Okay, I was going to go into mystery meat day, but that's okay. Hold on.
Just leave it on that cliffhanger.
There we go. All righty. Okay, let's do this. All right. Doom, 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 doom. Okay, here we go.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
That's right. We are live with COVID Marketing episode number 63. Holy moly. Week daily at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions on marketing, business, or well, whatever, and the whatever is going to be what's happening today, because today is Mystery Meat Day. MEET, which is like clever because it's mystery meat is the mystery. You know, sometimes you eat the meat. It's a kind of a mystery. What is this actually? It's a thing. But we're actually meeting you to talk about kind of what's been going on in marketing these days. So we're looking to leverage the people who are watching this show to ask us questions, which we will answer as well. We've got a couple other things going on the table that I'd love to chat about. Uber and destroying bikes and how they could have destroyed the bikes better. And also the apocalypse is coming. There's a couple of things I want to chat about, but if you guys got stuff you want to chat about, things that's been happening and you've been noticing, please hit us up in the live chat. I am Brent. I am Brent. I am Brent. I am also Kobayashi, and I'm also president of Kobayashi Zeitguys, a marketing agency here in Toronto, Canada. And with me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, also of the Kobayashi Zeitguys.
Good morning, Mystery Meat Day, Brent.
Yes, I'm excited about this one. Anybody who's watching this show and you're like, holy cow, it's going to be a Mystery Meat Day. I know some people that would really love that. Tag them, share it. Start a what is it called again when you watch it together?
Share party, watch party.
A watch party. Yeah, start the watch party and enjoy this with a bunch of people.
And I was going to say too, you know, ask us like your hardest, toughest, most difficult questions. Bonus points if you can stump us.
Yeah, we are giving out bonus points today. You didn't realize that bonus points were happening today. The people who are here live are going to be like so excited because you could get a bonus point, maybe even 2. All right. So I got my amorphous joke in. I got my Mystery Meat Day spin in. Let's see. Why don't we go to Uber destroys bikes?
I was gonna say, I gotta ask you, Brent. You've been talking about Uber destroying bikes.
Yeah.
And you piqued my curiosity.
Okay.
So I gotta ask you what you're talking about.
All right. So this was a little while ago. So this came across my newsfeed a couple weeks ago, and it was basically a negative news story for Uber, right? People were upset because Uber was selling off like portions of its business. They were in the bike business and the electric scooter business for a little bit. And then of course, all this stuff, COVID hit, and they're like balance sheet and cash and all this kind of stuff was becoming challenging. And so this either was already in the works anyways, or this precipitated it. They said, okay, we're getting rid of that, but we have all of these bikes. We don't know what to do with them. We're just going to destroy them. And there's these bright red bikes, and there's these pictures of Uber destroying these bikes because they didn't know what to do with. They had nothing to do. Like this was the most economical way to get rid of this fleet, right?
So we're talking about like physically destroying.
Yeah. There's a bunch of negative press and videos of these bikes being put into trash compactors and turned into scrap metal, right? And of course, people were like, what are you doing? This is the pandemic and people, need to get out and bicycle and keep social. And there's like all sorts of stuff around this, like negative press. What are you doing? It's so wasteful. Couldn't you have donated it? And before I move forward, what is your take on that? I'm curious.
Well, I was going to say, just to be cynical for a second.
Yep.
Because I don't know. I feel like in this day and age, people are pretty aware of like their PR presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, is it possible like they did this, not to say that like it was a PR stunt exactly, but that they like trashed a few bikes to like get a bit of a buzz about like how evil Uber is, and then that they could turn around now that they've got some attention and some press and say, hey, we've come to realize the error of our sins, and we're now going to start giving them out, and it's kind of an opportunity for some free press.
Okay, so I wish they did that.
Okay.
I wish, but that's not what happened, right? So basically, listen, first of all, I'm okay myself personally with Uber destroying the bikes. Like, I get the concerns, like, wait a second, what are you doing? But operationally, it made sense. Their message was, it didn't make sense to try. There's maintenance issues, there's liability issues. There's all sorts of different issues that got into what are we going to do with these bikes? The best thing is to destroy them. The best thing for them might have been that's the least cost way forward, which I don't have a problem with either. I'd like a different solution, but they're a business and their structure is shareholder. Now, that though is a short-term controller, CFO type decision. Like, I don't know if CFOs get a little bit of a bad rap, but that I'm sure, but it is not a marketing decision, is I guess what I'm going to say. So this is where I would go with this one, exactly where you would go, which is, how is this a marketing thing? I actually would say every single department in an organization, you should look at it and say, how does this relate to marketing / relationship with customer?
Yeah, public
Every
image.
single one. Everyone, public image, PR, the whole thing. So I get that Uber was saying, I want to pivot away. So remember, we're talking with Andres Pone, how do you pivot? And usually we're talking about how to pivot to something, right? I want to go in this direction. But Uber in this case was saying, we got to pivot away from this. So regardless of the eventual outcome, which could still have been destroyed bikes, this is a moment to actually have a brand statement, to engage, to get free freaking press, ideally positive ones, which is why I liked what you're talking about, because you're switching it. Okay, well, sorry, we made a mistake. We got a little bit too financial. This is where we're going to go, right? So I would have said, okay, hey, everybody. And again, this is real pundit stuff, right? So I have no idea what was really going on. So maybe they tried some of the stuff. It wasn't in any of the stuff that I saw. Or maybe it's just like, you know what? It's going to get some bad press, move on. People generally will forget about that in 6 months or a year when Uber's the easiest, ride, and they like the brand. But I still think this is a marketing opportunity, or at the very least, the reason I'm bringing up on this show is when you have a negative, like you have to do something which feels like it's going to be something your customers aren't going to really like. Look at turning it into a positive, like a marketing communication thing. That it's all about taking something negative and turning it into a positive. I actually do strongly believe that bad is actually the new good. We'll get into that another time. So what you do here is you just start engaging. You say, listen, we have all these bikes, and the most fiscally responsible thing for us to do is to destroy them, because there's warranty issues and all this stuff. Does anybody have any idea, like, does anybody out there actually want to solve this problem with us? And they have to, of course, invest some resources into that communication and that dialogue and all that stuff. But the great thing is you're getting press, you're getting marketing, and you're getting an ability to actually state some sort of brand around we care. Like, if you think of the marketing dollars that are spent for saying, ride with Uber, we're wonderful, or drink Pepsi, we're wonderful. Like, there's a lot of marketing dollars that go into this. If you would take the same thing and say, let's make a campaign out of this, and put the investment into some of the logistics and some of the communications and some of that type of thing, that's a good campaign. And quite frankly, the end result might still be destroyed bikes. But you wanted to say something, and I'll get into what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I feel like at the end of the day, people respond to like actions speak louder than words, right? So like brands can talk all they want about how amazing they are, but I think at the end of the day, what most people care about is like, what actions are they actually taking? Like, do they actually take good and positive actions? And so my thought is like, could those bikes have been donated to, I don't know, a kids charity or like something like that, or like gone to community centers and said, here's a whole bunch of bikes for you.
Yep. And the eventual result might have been, oh no, we can't donate the bikes to kids charity because this, and this. The end result might be we can't donate the bikes to kids charity. Maybe this is the truth, because now those bikes are now competing against the people that we're selling this deal to, whatever that happens to be. But when you're having that conversation and you're having that conversation publicly, you have an ability to direct it. And then if at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? We had 100,000 bikes, 80,000 of them had to be destroyed, 20,000 of them got donated. And then there might be some people who are still upset about the 80,000, but they're like, a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, but they tried, they did something. And at the end of the day, it was a fiscal decision. You say, listen, it's our also responsibility to make sure we're fiscally strong, especially in these days and times. And we felt that this was the best route for I understand that this isn't what everybody thinks, but we've certainly done our best to make sure that we've included everybody in this decision, or we've made the best out of the situation that we're currently in. Something like that. And then what you have is not this sort of, oh, right, they're just greedy capitalists, and there's a little bit more back and forth. Whatever it is, I thought it was a marketing opportunity, and I think that every business should look at every aspect of their business as, in my case, my thought is marketing is a blanket statement for interacting with your buyer, your potential buyer, your client, your potential client. That's Uber destroys bikes. That's my hot take.
So
it's kind of a current issue. It's actually a couple weeks old.
I had a slight related tangent we could go down, still talking about bikes, or do you want to go in a different direction?
Yeah, go in a different direction. I'm done with that one.
Done with the bikes? Okay. Well, my other direction was to talk about bikes. So
Right,
what else do we want to throw in the mystery meat?
No. I'm not okay. If you're not done with bikes, hit me
Well,
up.
I was looking at our questions, and Richard Godet does want us to answer what the meaning of life is.
Oh, thank you very much, Richard. By the way, his name, you know what? I'm going to call him Richard Godet right now. Just like, I'm kidding. I love you, Richard. Richard Gowder. Okay. So anyways, sorry. What was the question? Again, it was, what is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life?
Bikes. Moving on. Okay.
Bikes.
Do you have a meaning of life for you?
To be on the show, Brent.
Okay. I do have a meaning of life, at least the meaning of human life. Love. That's it. Like, we are literally genetically wired
Problem
for that.
solved.
That's it. Done. All right. Everybody can go home. Marketing problem solved. Just remember love. That's it. Actually, I'm curious. You don't have to answer. Do you have a meaning of life?
Still working on it.
All right. Very cool.
Richard was satisfied with that, by the way.
You like that one, huh? Yeah. Very good. Let's see. We have 6 minutes. We're going to nail it. Anything that you've seen lately that you want to discuss?
Well, I was going to ask if we're going to stick on the bike topic for a second, because I know there's the, I forget what they're called, but like the TD sponsored bikes that are
Right.
like around
The Bixby bikes. Yeah.
the Bixby bikes. Yeah, those ones. And I know a couple of years ago, those were like pretty hot. But I was going to say, I've seen a number of the bike stands around town. Like there's one near us, near, Ted Reeve Arena.
Mm-hmm.
And from my experience, I don't often see people actually riding those bikes around. And I was just wondering, is the is the era of the Bixby bike over, or like have people moved in a different direction, or does it need to be resuscitated in some way? Because I personally, I haven't seen much activity there, purely anecdotal.
Right. Okay. Well, again, purely anecdotal. I've seen a lot of activity. So there's analytics for you, or statistics, or observation, or whatever it is. One person can see one thing, one person can see the exact opposite thing. So I don't know. I actually think there might be a bit of a resurgence right now, right? Obviously, wiping down the handles or anything else like that. So there's a little bit of maybe hesitation with sharing stuff. But no, when I was driving around, I was like, oh, a lot of people are using these bikes and they're getting on them and they're getting outdoors. So I'd be actually curious to see what those types of behavior changes. I'm curious to see how that's going to happen after coronavirus, COVID, all of this kind of stuff, to see if people are like, I took a breather, I need to get out in nature more, or I need to exercise more, or that was really stressful and they're just going to go, right to the grindstone and just get at it. So I'd be very curious to see what happens with that. Personally, I think that those bikes would be ridiculously good if they kept reducing the cost and just making it more of a deposit, as in if you take the bike, you have to bring it back to get it, to make sure that they get returned. Or you get charged if it's not returned or something else like that, unless a cost thing. That way, I think the usage will go up, and I think it will go in the direction that we kind of want the city to go, especially for local businesses. So one of the things that's happening on the Danforth is they are really accelerating the lane reductions, more patio space, more bike riding space, that kind of stuff. So they're looking at this and saying, we need to revitalize the local economy, like the small local business. I think it's brilliant, absolutely should be done. Actually should be tried and see what happens, to just sort of get people using the local restaurants and patios and all that kind of stuff.
Right, using like the local public space.
Yeah.
And David Blackmore agrees with you. He still sees people using the Bixby bike. So I guess it's 2 against 1. I'm out. I'm wrong. I just live in a little bubble here.
We actually literally all, actually, that's one of the things that's going on here that I feel like we're going one way and maybe we'll go another way, or it's all kind of sporadic, which is, we're trying to figure out what is actual data and what's information. Meaning, our data points for stuff is sometimes very skewed and very narrow. So if you take something like some of the conspiracy theories that are going around, or whatever it happens to be, and a data point could be a very convincing video, but that's very different than double blind and all the other kind of tests and that sort of thing. So we've got a lot of opinion, including the ones that I gave today, going on that's turning into data points and information. And so I would say in general, that's challenging. And I think things get sorted out over time. In marketing, you always want to be questioning your data. That's we got to pull it back to marketing somehow, because that's what the show is.
Well, I was just going to celebrate for a little moment the success of our show here, because we've got 1 minute till the end, and I think we might actually end on time today.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, I'm going to get myself set up for us to go out. I think that's enough for today. Yep, this thing can wait till our next mystery meet.
It was pretty good day. We answered
I liked it.
The meaning of life and figured out the bike situation. Yeah,
totally. Richard, I totally agree with you. Cars, maybe not bikes, because bike ownership is slightly different, but definitely cars. Bikes, perhaps more electric scooters, more electric bikes type stuff in terms of that type of thing. There are going to go to a monthly service model. I really believe it. I believe that, there's a few things that are trying to catch up with that sort of thing, where You can interchange cars. You can have I really think that there's going to be a lot. Actually, probably the number one thing that I think is going to change infrastructure in our world is infrastructure around transportation. Cars, very, very specifically. So can't wait to see what happens over the next 10 years on as far as that goes. I think most of the infrastructure decisions that are being made, subways or lanes and all that kind of stuff, are probably still not realizing that we are so close to having radical changes where we don't need massive parking lots anymore. So that how that changes real estate and everything is going to be wild, because real estate's been on a very steady climb for a long time. So that's the number one thing I'm super, super interested in. All right. You're already ready to go.
I'm born ready.
Yeah. All right. Let's get out of this awesome episode. I'm actually not sure what you're doing tomorrow.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with
Mystery
Brent
Meat
Kobayashi
2.0.
and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
That's right. That was COVID Marketing episode number 63, our first official Mystery Meat episode. I think we've actually done a few mystery meats in the past. We just didn't call them that, so they weren't that. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow as we get into more marketing for small businesses and more marketing, more small business stuff.
Just more marketing.
Just whatever we can do to support you thriving in this day and age.
I think we should just do a whole month of Google My Business.
Yeah, nonstop, every single day, right? That would please you. You'd be like, yes. All right, let's cut it. You whispered that.
Let's cut it.
There we go. I like that. Okay. Couldn't hear you. All right. Thanks, guys.